Hello, hey, hi everybody, social media family. Being of whatsoever races, although not necessarily being of whatever walks of life, factions of society, or lifestyle preferences, but then, nevertheless, I'm not hating on anybody. Believe it or not, this is yours truly, if you know what I mean. Read between the lines, fill in the blanks. Although you all may not recognize me with all of this fuzz on my face, but then you know that my heart goes out to anybody and everybody who is about love. You understand what I'm trying to say? As I think of it with that of a man's intentions to say it. Being because we all must recognize and realize that at the end of the day, whereas we should not let ourselves go to bed in a moment of wrath, whereas we all must remember that we are the world. We are the children. Hopefully, children of light than children of darkness. So I say to you all, my social media family, being of whom are all the same, of the old and young alike, of both of the two sexual genders, males and females, representing the global community within this post 911 era of our new millennium, of this apocalyptic day and age, and whereas the doomsday clock is now at a couple few minutes to midnight, compared unto how formerly, previously, or prior to then, it was at a quarter to midnight for these rather biblically prophetic times. How are you all doing? Hello, hey, hi. Well, hopefully everyone is doing at least okay, if not better yet to be said, to be feeling all right. If not best of all to be said, to be feeling blessed and stressed, more blessed and stressed, or too blessed to possibly become or be stressed. You and yours, your family and friends, and hopefully me and mine, likewise as well, are all the same. Well, whatever or however said, be I speaking correct, proper standard English grammar, being of the American dialect of some or such qualities and quantities or not. But then, whatsoever I could speak upon of a subject matter and or issue at hand, and pardon the pun, no offense was meant to be directed at any past, present, or future sexual assault victims or rape victims, and likewise none was meant to be directed against any murder victims. But then, as I think of it with that in my mind's intentions to try to backtrack here, with reasonable purposes being, in order so I can go on to following, to continue from where and when I last left off, to finish up as in complete a former line of thought, and in the same sense of the word. So I say to you all, being of whom are my social media family, not counting the internet trolls and the negative, although regardless, I must just think to pray for them on my attention. But getting back to what I was trying to say, or as I do so now, and being as you all are among yourselves in my social media family, being of whom I address this to, you know, whereas I would hope that whatsoever I could speak upon, you know, of whatever given argument with the many different views and opinions associated with some such, be it a controversy or not, and be it a social plague upon any given society, if it is or not, that has yet to be resolved, if it has not been already. Be it a social and be it a social plague upon any given society that is yet to be resolved, if it has not been resolved already or not. Rather, that's what I meant to say. Prince of Peace continue to regulate my mind compared to how the Prince of Darkness attempts to confuse my speech. and of some or such conversation or dialogue of a topic of discussion, or be able to speak upon a couple, few or four more for that matter. But then don't kill the messenger. I'm just here to deliver. And hopefully, with that much less of a chance to be playing the part of the devil's advocate as a lesson to you of being a prodigal son. And therefore, let me say, state for the record, you know, then hopefully with that much less usage, likewise, of that of expletive of profanity, much rather than instead of with that much more of was cuss words to simply say. But then that is in contrast to the lesser two evils is what I meant to say, but the worser is of the likes of those false brethren, religious church hypocrites, of the supposed so-called holier than thous, of the modern day religious Pharisees and Sadducees of wolves in sheep's clothing or snakes in the grass, being of whom are of the worst of the worstest of unbelievers and unbelievers, being of deceivers who pretend to have become or pretend to be believers in God, as in Christians, aka Protestants. And therefore they themselves being of those of whom are among the likes to be possibly considered would be likewise the worst of the worstest of closet devil worshippers, being of whom make up the majority of churchgoers of whatsoever religious denominations. But then, nevertheless, now that I've gotten the preliminaries out the way, then let me speak upon some such a matter. Like, say, for example, the violent protesters who were protesting as they were. I found that to be ignorant. I mean, it was really ignorant. I said ignorant. For the love of God, please do not do that ever again. I mean, you're destroying cities, and therefore you may as well be destroying lives. I mean, what if there is a food shortage for how some of you violent protesters have moonlighted as looters? Not to mention if there would be a shortage upon medicines, as I hear that more than quite a few of you had gone about looting a pharmacy here and there. That's not nice. That's ignorant. I say that's ignorant. Why would you want to go and do something so foolish like that? I mean, don't get me wrong. I sympathize and empathize with you all. That is with the protesters, being of whom are the other ones who protest peacefully. But so far as you violent protesters, I can't understand why would you want to tear up cities by responding in some such an immature, ignorant, and insane kind of way, being of which was not to mention impolite. Why would you want to do that? You know, and have others risk being harmed by the police and the military, if any of some such of law enforcement personnel, as well as personnel of the military, were to confuse some of the peaceful protesters with the violent protesters, or could possibly be on the verge of attacking people or persons in general at some given moment in time, like mere pedestrians that could possibly be just walking by, trying to get out of harm's way of a clash being of which could possibly develop between police and violent protesters. Why would you want to do that? That's ignorant. I mean, I could not fathom for anything in the world. Why would you all use the death of a black male at the hands of racist, redneck, dirty cops as an excuse to express yourselves in a violent way and then to loot at that? How is that helping anybody? And how is it honoring the surviving relatives of members for the deceased's own immediate family household? Whereas, isn't it enough that they are in the grieving process? Then, for the likes of you violent protesters to possibly exacerbate the case or situation? I mean, I find that to be quite appalling. Well, it's ignorant. I mean, why can't we all just get along? Understand what I'm saying? I mean, for you violent protesters to have traumatized that family further, it just lacks that compassion to me with the way that you violent protesters have gone about protesting, or that I just